Okay, this is a meeting of the Capital Improvement Committee on, let's see, March 6th at 6:06 p.m. All those in attendance, Frank Malisi.
Ed Heel.
Ken Sweezy.
Okay, and we have a bunch of department heads from the Water Department, the Highway Department, Fire Department, and the Hanson Police Department. So we're going to, first order of business was the minutes. We're going to actually table that until next meeting, and we'll get right into the department head meeting. So we want to start with the Hanson Water Department. The Hanson Water Department, you guys aren't asking for any free cash funds for what we have this year. So if we could just go through each of your items that you have on the matrix that's going to be given to the townspeople and just confirm which ones can be removed or moved to a different year, that'd be great. So you guys do have the whole matrix right here, so I put it, it's that one right there. So, and then you get, this is the updated matrix that we have here. So the utility truck replacement, you guys still on track to do that for fiscal year 24?
Yeah, I put an article for that, so.
Okay.
It's gonna be for a town meeting.
Okay. Do you guys have to put in articles for spending enterprise funds?
Yes. Townspeople still.
Oh, you do? Okay. Okay. The water main projects, you still have those listed for fiscal year 26, 7, 8, 9?
Correct.
Okay, great. The IT system, you said...
We can take that out, that's me.
Okay, great.
So you're just moving it 2 years forward?
No, we're taking it out.
Taking it out?
Okay.
Yeah.
And you guys did that last year, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. The building upgrade for the 40 by 60 garage expansion, you guys still planning on that in fiscal year 25?
Correct.
Awesome. Green filter plant, I don't know what that means, but...
So that's for Crystal Springs. If DEP mandates it, we have to do one. I'm guessing it's probably gonna be like $2 million.
Okay.
We can kick that down the road too if you want. You want to put it to 29?
Okay, we'll take that and move it to 29.
I
Awesome.
don't suppose there's any funding that comes with that mandate, is there?
They usually throw out these lame, like, low interest rates and stuff that the town still has to pick up. It's just, it's horrible. Like, we can't even get, like, really, nothing out of it.
Yeah.
The only thing that won't point out is PFAS. You get like the PFAS, but
Yep.
this town, thank God, we're pretty good with PFAS. We don't have any real detectable PFAS. We have just minor PFAS, but it's not.
Yeah, detectable but not dangerous, yeah.
So it's not a lot for DEP or us.
So when you guys get a bill like that for $2 million, do you guys pay for that out of your enterprise fund, or is
So
it
we
usually like?
bond it.
Okay.
So depending on how GB wants to do it, we bond it, or, like I said, there's low interest rates, there's all these other things, but I think it's easier because when we do projects, we usually bond them all together.
Okay.
So it just makes it simple.
Okay, great.
And well, of course, we pay for one ourselves, so.
The new building enclosures for 250 in fiscal year 26?
Yeah.
Okay. The Crystal Springs generator in fiscal year 25, you guys still plan on doing
Yeah.
that? Okay, awesome. The well field upgrades for fiscal year 24 and 25?
Correct.
Okay. And the well field 5 treatment for $13 million in 24?
Correct.
Okay. You guys doing that this year?
We're trying to, it all depends on DEP, since DEP, we're waiting for the approval. Once we find approval, we'll go to basically design stage.
Okay.
So, and then we'll kind of get ideas what actually it's gonna cost. I don't think it's gonna be nearly 13 million, that's like the Taj Mahal of a building, but, hopefully we can get it down to like maybe 8, depending on, supply,
Okay.
materials and all that stuff.
Cool. And you guys had a new water tank for fiscal year 29, but you guys don't have an amount on there, so.
It's to be determined around town, so we basically, depending on what we have for water source, if we get another well, we need another storage facility for that well. As of right now, our tank is very sufficient to handle what we have now. We can't even fill it in the summer, so.
Okay.
I don't see that happening.
That's the big tank over there, right?
Correct, on High
Okay,
Street.
cool.
And we just refurbished it 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions with the water department matrix? No? One other question I have, I'm not sure if you filled out the forms yourself, or if you had your assistant at the water department do it, but
Well, it depends if it was screwed up. If it was screwed up, she did it.
that's about right. Okay. Do you have any feedback on the form or on the process for the capital kind of process that you have here in town?
No, so basically I just fill the same forms every year.
Okay.
It's just, I get them on my computer, just zipping the numbers and tweak things a little bit, so.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think you're all good then, since you know, you don't really need too much from us. If you do have any, issues with the form or anything like that you give us, then that we can fix over there, just feel free to let us know. So,
Awesome.
thank you, appreciate
Thanks,
it.
gentlemen.
Yes, thank you, thank you.
Okay, and then, next we will do,
If you might have,
I don't think, you know what? Yes,
look at that.
got a whole bunch of them. Take the good one. Next, we'll do the PD next. So Chief Mix. So it's pretty simple. You only have the real police units that are in there for the cars and stuff like that. Those are built into your operating budget, though, right? So you don't need any free cash or anything like that. Okay. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. There's only one item there, so.
3 cars, one.
And you do 3 cars every year, right? So no. Okay. So what should I fix on this matrix?
So on the
then?
matrix, hang on a second. let me put this in. Next year, we're looking at 186,000.
Okay. Fiscal year 25.
Yeah, fiscal
Okay.
24.
Fiscal 24. Okay. Yep. So 186.
25, I should be down to 2 marked units. And that should be at 124,000.
124.
Fiscal 26, again, 124.
Okay. 124.
And then after that, we'll go back up to 186
Okay.
for the next 3. So what I do is, it's like, to keep the fleet at the level it's at, is I go 2 cruises, 2 cruises, 3 cruises, 3 cruises.
Okay.
Like 3 cruises, then back to 2
Just
cruises.
to make it
2
work out,
cruises.
yeah.
And we've been able to, on some years, like that's a worst case scenario I gave you. Some years, what we're doing is, because it's the unmarked that are kind of on the rotation, it's marked cars usually last me 5 years.
Okay.
If they're in really decent shape and I got one that's kind of a piece of crap behind it, I might keep one for a 6 year and get rid of one that's a little newer, that's in worse shape. But the kind of wild card is the unmarks. Some of them, like I've always estimated them to have a 7 to 9 year lifespan as opposed to a 5 year lifespan like the marked ones.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah, anybody have any questions for Chief Mix?
No, these cars you're replacing are 6 or 7 years old from what I'm seeing.
Should be 5, and yeah, well, you know what, because I put the unit numbers, not.
It says 787.
Oh, yeah, see, that's where it gets weird, so
That's what?
that's where it gets a little weird. Let me find out again.
Yeah. So like the target fund expenditure date right here, where he
Okay.
has in fiscal year 24, he has 3.
Oh, okay, no, I was looking at the-
25, I only see
I'm
one in
looking at the
25.
You're looking at
I'm
Form
looking at the
C,
next
right?
sheet.
Okay.
Look at Form C.
Let me see.
This one right here. Okay.
Yeah.
So the age is 7 years, 8 years, and 7 years. You gotta remember, that's based on the model year, not necessarily.
Right, that's true. Yeah, because
So-
car makers do that. fun
They
stuff.
might be, it's probably 676, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I just got rid of one that was like at 5 because it was just like a quasi lemon from the time we got it. And I had another one that the engine blew up in, so we're gonna keep it. And now that's turning into like a quasi lemon, so that's why like that 8-year one's coming up.
Do you resell these? Do you sell these cars back?
So what we've been doing is trading them in. So we trade them in to offset the cost. So you fully fund me for the cost of all, because I don't know what I'm gonna get for trading.
Yeah.
I mean, if it goes in there on the back of a record, they're giving me $1,200.
Yeah.
If we put black tape over the dashboard and drive them in there and pull the plates off and run away, they've been giving me anywhere from $5 to $6 grand on average for a cop. Right now, they're kinda up. I think I got like $6,700 for one, somewhere in there.
Can't you sell them to like a public auction for more than that?
You can, but first of all, I don't know what we're gonna get back. If I
Yeah.
sell it at public auction, it goes back to the general fund. If I do the trade-in, that money doesn't come out of my capital line.
Ah, okay.
Todd and I have always had like a gentleman's agreement that I won't take that money and do anything else with it. I can't really anyways, because it's in a capital line. I can only spend it on vehicles or computers.
So you can't
So-
give it to the selectmen or anything?
No, you guys, well, I could, at the end of, like, come May, if you guys wanna
No, I
do
mean
a
the cars.
transfer, you could do.
I'm kidding,
There's
yeah.
all the cars. I can't give the cars to anybody
Yeah.
because of the green communities.
Yeah.
So, and anything I'm getting rid of is a gas, and we've been buying hybrids. except for next year, we gotta buy another truck because the 150 we have does not meet the needs of what we needed to do. But the beauty of that one is I can keep that on the road because it's pursuit rated. It can take over as a cruiser, which if you notice lately, a lot of towns are starting to use F-150s as a daily cruiser because the Ford made a specific police pursuit Ford F-150. And that's what that is, but it can't handle the snow that we need to push sometimes. No offense to these guys, but a heavy storm, we're using that to just keep the parking lot open. Or if we gotta go on a call, same as the fire department, that 150 can't. It's like a homeowner plow, just can't handle it.
So what are you gonna replace it with?
A 250 or actually, I put in an order for a 350
Oh, good.
because the
Yeah.
350 is the same price and heavier duty suspension.
Yeah.
Okay,
And probably easier to get.
cool. Okay, I don't have any other questions for you, Chief Mix. Anybody else?
Nope. That's
No?
Good.
Thank
Okay,
you.
good, thank you,
very much.
appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good one.
We don't need conservation, so let's hit the fire department one. So you guys can get out of here after that, okay?
Chief said he was free tonight. He was gonna go last. I was thinking because this is his last one. So
Yeah, might as well,
Wanted to
right?
soak it
Might as
in.
well.
Yeah, but he's just gonna observe, so.
yeah.
Okay, so awesome. So if you want to go through, and just
Sure.
about the items that you have, and then
Yeah,
we'll go through the matrix.
We'll start with, you got ambulance number one up there. So what happens with the ambulances is while ambulance one gets replaced as an ambulance, it actually stays in the department fleet because then it becomes what we call the technical support unit. So all of our dive gear, ice rescue gear, all the water rescue gear, that ambulance comes offline as an ambulance, but then it stays for another 3, 4, 5 years as the technical support unit. So that's why in Form A, it says it's 2014 that we're replacing. It stays in the fleet, it just comes off the road, so we're really replacing it 2010.
Okay.
At that point, the one kicker with the ambulances that we just found out last week, it is 2 years to get a chassis.
2 years to get an ambulance
2
chassis?
years to get an ambulance chassis.
Don't they just use the same one an RV has?
Yeah.
Isn't that what they do?
So, and so the interesting part with both with Chevy, Ford, and Dodge is the manufacturers only at certain times push out the chassis that are rated to have an ambulance body on the back of it. So in talking with the sales reps that we've used for the Lifeline ambulances, they told me to, because the next ambulance will be an E-Series. We've got 2 4-wheel drive F-Series, we've got one E-Series, so we'll be replacing the E-Series, which is a gas job. They said it'll be 2 years to get. So, the good part with the ambulances, that comes out of the ambulance account, so we can order it like after October town meeting, whatever. Whenever we do order it, but we wouldn't be making payment on it until it actually shows up at the dealership, which is roughly 2 years for it. Squad 4, let's see, you guys have that in there for fiscal year 26.
Yep.
Squad 4, same thing, that's an F550 chassis that's on it. That's our mini pumper, so that takes the wear and tear off the big engines. Which is good because even with the newer engines, everything being electronic and everything having definite now, it's a pain to maintain, quite honestly. So the older engines, believe it or not, were actually much easier to maintain than all the electronics that are out there. And Squad 4 does the majority of the calls. It goes out on all the ambulance calls, investigations. The only thing it won't go out on is a reported building fire, and it will not go out on motor vehicle accidents. For those, the primary engine goes out for that.
Okay.
And same thing, the ambulance account would.
The ambulance can't take care of that also?
Yeah, it takes care of that also, yeah. Tower 1, so with Tower 1, we did push that off. We were looking initially this year to try to do that. We're kicking the can down the road because I did apply for an assistance to firefighter grant for it. We applied last year for it. We made it all the way to the bitter end, and then they denied us. So, but that's a good thing. It stayed in the queue for a long time.
Okay.
So we're hoping that this year they'll do it. The kicker with it is we're capped at $950,000. The price right now is almost right now the latest one we got was 1.6. By the time we go to do it, probably close to 1.8. Talking with some of the dealers out there, because we've already started looking at, okay, what are the costs and things like that. Those are anywhere from 2 to 3 years to receive once you order it. But some of the dealers, depending on what goes on with inventory, they're starting to order them 2 and 3 years out and then show up on the lot. So that might be one of those ones that while we're looking, that we might get, $950,000 in grant money, either again, through the ambulance account is how we would do it, is to, probably lease purchase that one, because that'll take a while to pay off. But then take the remaining anywhere from $500,000 up to as much as $900,000 from that account to do
And you
it.
said that's on the ambulance account also?
That's how we would fund it, just through the ambulance account also.
You just do it over time, though.
Over
right?
time,
Yeah,
correct. Yeah, whereas the ambulance and the squad, when they come in, what we've done in the past is paid it right off, right away, because they actually given some discounts on it.
Yep.
But the tower truck, we'd have to take time to pay that one off.
Okay.
So however the town wanted to bond it or purchase it at that point. So we leave it to the financial team to figure that one out.
Okay.
And forgive me, where did you say that 950, that grant?
It's an assistance to firefighter grant
Okay.
that FEMA puts out every year. So
Okay, federal
we've
grant.
actually, yeah, it's a federal grant. We've actually been very successful with our grants. Quite honestly, in the last 20 years, the only apparatus that I'll say taxpayers have paid for is engine 1 and engine 2. Engine 1 was actually done as a 1-year debt exclusion when Rainey Reed was here. Taxes went up for that 1 year, paid for it, paid cash that year, and done. Engine 2 was borrowed for engine 2. But forest fire 1 that we have right now, a federal grant paid for that. I think we only paid like $10,000. Federal grant paid for that. The UTV we had was a grant. The boat was a combination of donations and a grant. All of our defibrillators, monitors, radios, the SCBA's ×2 now, radio systems ×2 have all been federal grant money. So the amount of money that the townspeople have paid for, I'll call it that side of the fire station, has actually been pretty small. It's either been grant money or the ambulance account that's paid for it, which is good. So a lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah. Are you guys
So
looking
that's
to
what I
write
was gonna
grants
say,
for
a
the
lot
other
of people-
departments in town? Or?
If it was time. So we've just been, like I said,
Yeah,
extremely
no, that's
fortunate.
great.
So that's the tower. So that one, we're going to push it out a year and see what goes on with the grants with it.
Okay.
You're pushing it out to 2026?
Tower one right now, we're pushing it to 2025, but
That's
it's probably
what it
going to push to 2026.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
depending
can-
on the grant cycle and how it goes.
Yep.
So the question that you had about why is it on here?
No.
Right?
My
Or-
question is, I think we need a funding source when it goes to town. Like, the town needs to know
Yeah.
that we're not
Yes.
paying, that this is paid out of the ambulance fund. And
Well,
Yes, so
what
that's
we're
a-
proposing
that's
in
what
the
we're
plan, but
proposing,
that doesn't mean that somebody can't change that.
Right.
We don't recommend that they do, but.
Right.
Yeah, so that's
for the
another
people to
point.
know, the
So
townspeople to know.
one thing that we have to discuss up here also is putting. There's a lot of things on this matrix that free cash isn't paying for, right? So for example, I'll just go out of order and go to the playground in Cranberry Cove, right?
Yep.
That is slated to come, if CPC approves it, to come from CPC.
Right.
It's still in the capital matrix, but we're not paying for it with free cash.
Everything,
So-
all capital improvement items need to go through.
Need to go through the matrix, yeah, so that brought up a good point, because I had a discussion with the Board of Selectmen, the FinCom, and the town accountant last week, about marking these as to how they're being spent. So going through, like, for example, Tower 1 is gonna be grant money, hopefully, right? We would mark this with like a G or something like
Yeah,
that,
grant
as
money is
people
only a
know.
percentage,
So when the
yeah.
town people look at this matrix, they could say, okay, we're slated to spend, if they look at the whole thing without any, any categorization, they're like, oh, we're gonna, highway spending
lot of
$8 million this year. Like, how is that, how's that happening? So
Yeah.
we'd have to go through and mark and say, okay, which sources are actually being used free cash, which ones are grants, and so on and so forth, right? So they kind of get a better understanding about it. So we'll go off and kind of do that after these going through the matrix. And the last one that you actually have that you are looking for
Yeah, so we're
free
looking for
cash.
protective clothing this year.
Okay.
That is our full turnout gear. That turnout gear is good for a 10-year lifespan under NFPA. What we have found is, same thing like everything else, it's taking a year to order that equipment.
Okay.
So originally it was scheduled for next year, but we would be out of compliance by the time the gear came in. So that's why we put that in for this year. And that would be free cash or however the town wants to
Okay.
do the PPE for the firefighters.
Okay, so I heard that the Whitman Fire Department was getting their protective gear and they were donating it somewhere too. Do we do the same thing for that?
They donated.
They donated the ballistic vests.
vests.
Oh, the vests,
Ballistic
okay,
vests.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
The,
they donated
wait, the
that
fire
to
department donated the ballistic vest?
Yeah, because we have ballistic vests now too. Became a firefighter and now we got a ballistic vest.
Oh,
Because we
okay.
have to go to active shooter or
okay.
domestics and things
Oh,
like that.
okay.
We actually go in. Yeah, we don't-
Okay, okay, sorry, I must have misunderstood.
No, no, that's
okay.
So yeah, so Whitman Fire donated their ballistic armor to the Mass Fire Academy. for
Okay.
their active shooter
Cool.
program.
Okay.
So the protective clothing, okay, great.
So this protective clothing is our firefighting gear.
Yeah, it's like your, yeah, the ones with your names on and everything like that, helmets and stuff like that, or is it just like kind
It'll
of
be
the
the
clothing?
jackets, the pants, the hoods, the gloves.
Okay, cool.
All the things.
Stupid question. You mentioned that it takes a year to order, or not a year to order, but a year
A year
between
to
the order and
deliver, roughly.
arrival. When do we pay for it? When we order or when it arrives?
When it arrives.
Okay.
When we
So
receive
is that a 2025? We need to discuss it in 2024 because we
I
need
think,
to order.
well, a year from today would still be 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so-
again, it could come in 8 months. So it's
Yeah,
taking
so it
months
needs to be,
be.
it needs to be there. Yep.
Okay.
We'll leave it where it is then.
Okay, cool. Do you guys have any feedback about the capital improvement process, or the forms or anything like that?
No, the forms that the chief had me fill out, everything was pretty easy.
Okay.
Trying to make it easy.
And
Yeah.
like I attached the letter to.
Yeah, you guys use the old
Chairman
forms.
saying,
Yeah, you guys use the old forms because you submitted it wicked early, so which was great. I love it because we had it.
I need a
So
new format.
yeah, I'll send over the new forms for you guys. You guys can have that and just let me know
The
your
old form
yeah.
is really easy, that's all.
Yeah.
Well, we made it easier. So
Yeah, well,
that's
we
great.
made it literally easier. So I'll send them over to you because we get rid of essentially the Form B. Like I don't know if you guys really use the Form B,
No,
but
I did Form C and Form A.
yeah. So yeah, you guys wouldn't have to worry about it anyway. So
Yeah.
awesome, great, thank you, I appreciate it.
Excellent.
Very good.
Great.
Is it official yet?
No, not yet. We're getting there.
Months, months.
I'll put it on you, tell me when it's gonna be.
yeah, we can't say anything over here.
Hey, they don't tell me anything.
Yeah,
Hopefully within the next, I'd say, week.
nice, awesome,
We should be able to
that's good,
get everything all signed and done, so.
great,
Excellent.
cool. Okay, great. So we'll go over to the highway department next.
Excellent, thank you guys.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you.
You get your tickets on, guys.
I'll let you know. You'll be my first call.
Driving the fire truck though, right?
Actually, watch you do your job. I watch it.
Yeah, it was a good game.
Yep.
It was a good game.
You guys can do the mill if you want, but you just have the one item.
Yeah. So the mill. So yeah, we can do it. Let's do the Nathaniel Mill. So that's it's back here somewhere. I'm looking for it. Yeah, Thomas Mill Commission, TMC. This one right here. The one that has my chicken scratch handwriting on it.
Yeah.
What is the initials?
It's the TMC one. TMC. Yeah. So it's the Thomas Mill Commission. I think it's in the back. I think it's like
It's like-
behind that.
because I
Yeah.
didn't go that. I
Yeah.
didn't go deep enough.
Okay, so Mike, you have the Thomas Mill Commission, right? So if you just want to go ahead and explain the what you have up for this year, what your funding source is, and everything like that. So
Alright, well, I'm trying to figure it all out, yeah. This is my second time filling it out, so it's
Yep.
still kind of.
no, it was good when I went through it.
Figuring out how to do it all, but.
Yep.
The first thing, that's the ADA ramp, the handicap ramp for Thomas Mill.
Mm-hmm.
I got one estimate finally. I've been trying to get estimates for 4 months now. I got the plans and get the estimates, I've sent them out to like 4 contractors. Because there's some excavating work, I put in some concrete retaining walls in there to go with this ramp. The price this guy gave me, I'm looking at like $95,000.
That's a lot.
Blew my mind.
Yeah,
Absolutely blew it.
yeah,
And that's-
You want to go build a ramp?
and a lot of it's due to the excavating work, the concrete work that needs to be done. Because of all the pilings that are gonna be put in, dug and put in, and then, like I said, the 3 retaining walls, and they're worried about the water table being an issue, which is very legit. The plans have it going like 4 feet down. You're below the water at that point, the pond, so we're below the pond before we even start.
yeah.
So that's gonna be some issues with it, and I think that's why the price is so high, and it also had to be prevailing wage because it's a construction job.
Yeah.
I got the prevailing wages from Lisa on that. So that's where I'm looking at that. I'm looking to do that this year. She mentioned something about some possible, another funding source possibly, but unknown yet.
What was the one you said?
What was the funding source? What's that? I think it's to do with the COVID stuff.
The ARPA?
Yes, that's it, thank you. She's not sure, she goes, it might be, she was gonna look into, I haven't heard back. I told her I was putting it on the capital plan, and I was putting an article at town meeting as well.
Yeah.
I put it in there for a placeholder, if by some chance I get funding somewhere else, I'll obviously pull it, but I wanted to get the placeholder in there, just so it's, the townspeople know what we're looking to do over there, that we're not just ignoring that bill.
Yeah.
And
Okay, Ken, go ahead.
now I know we had a couple different discussions about the mill during our previous meetings, and it wasn't a big question that we had whether the ADA ramp was necessary legally or if it was as a draw to potentially host more events or more
Legal.
diverse events.
Legal, all town buildings are supposed to be ADA compliant, and that is not.
Okay.
You gotta go down a hill
Yeah.
to get the wheelchair, and then you still gotta go up a step like this, and that, the grade of that hill is dangerous.
Right.
For a wheelchair.
Yeah.
So that's,
Have we been like cited or anything?
not yet, and I'm looking to stay ahead of that.
Sure.
Because if somebody was to put a complaint in, and I talked to Lisa about this again, telling her why I brought this up,
Right.
is if Joe Smo was to call in and say, hey, I can't get into that place, I'm gonna sue the town. And they call up the state or whatever else. The state will turn around and say, guess what? You gotta put it in. Well, we don't have the money, don't care, you gotta put it in.
Right.
Yeah.
Town buildings need to be accessible. So I'm trying to stay ahead of the game.
Yeah.
I get funding's tight, I understand that.
Yeah.
But I want everybody to be aware that, hey, this is coming down the pike, this is what we're looking at for money to do this, as of right now. I mean,
Yeah, it just really stinks because that is a lot of money
I never expected it.
that
If I'm
does the
not,
building make enough money to,
right now, rentals have been down a little bit. The COVID's cut the rentals back a lot and stuff.
like how much do we make in a year in a good year before
Honestly, I
COVID?
don't know. It's
Yeah.
40 to, right now, we just finally upped the rate to the place, which
Yeah.
I want to up more, but it's
Yeah.
small steps.
Yeah.
It was $25 for 24 hours. It's now $40 for 24 hours. There's no running water, there's no bathroom.
Right.
We're trying to amp it up. We're looking at eventually, if you see, I don't think, did I do it on here? I think I might have missed it on here. Putting in heaters eventually, electric, some sort of heat in there, so we can get a year-round thing out of it maybe. Right
Is there
now,
electricity in
nice, there's a wood stove in there,
Okay.
but it was a hand-me-down.
Yep.
So, okay, so the ADA ramp going in there, I know that there is legal requirement for the towns to have ADAs accessible for the town buildings. I mean, I personally, like, if you came in here and asked for like 35,000 or like 45,000, I'd be like, okay, like that, but like 95, so that's a third of that's essentially a third of our capital
I
budget that we
understand,
have
like, when
here.
I talked to you back in October.
Yeah.
I guesstimated around 50,000.
Yeah, which even 50,000 would be like, okay, like, you know, but
When I got this, I almost hit the floor.
I mean,
myself.
has anybody at the Nathaniel Mill Commission looked up grants for ADA for historical places or things like that?
It's not historical.
Correct. It's not historical. Yes, it's a
original
recreation.
structure.
Yeah. Okay. So has
That's
anybody
the problem I run
looked
into.
has anybody looked there for grants for making ADA compliant?
Nobody has yet. That is in my mind. I know there is stuff out there through the state for some grants.
Yeah.
Problem is, there's 4 of us that are volunteering in between everything else. I've spent all my time trying to get all my homework on this side of it done.
Yeah.
I haven't got to the funding side of it yet.
Yeah. No. I mean,
And
it makes sense.
I agree with you 100%. I understand 100% what you're saying. Believe me. It's a high number and try to find some other, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, and realistically, I mean, I don't want to be like that guy, but we have a lot of places in town that aren't ADA compliant. So, like, we have a lot of places in town that are not, you know, ADA compliant.
Oh, yeah.
right. It's not just the mill. Like, there's
Right.
there's places at the transfer station that, you know, aren't. I mean, I understand like the legal issue there. I just, like, we have a book upstairs in the town planner's office that they did an ADA survey essentially of every place in town that was supposed to be ADA compliant, right? And I have to actually go get it from Tony. So I don't know. I don't know the legality of that, whether we have to have it put in there, because if that was the case, like,
Well, the
I
reason
feel
I
like
said-
there'd be a lot more requests coming in for
When I was
that.
talking to Lisa about it, when she said she was in Whitman,
Yeah,
somebody complained about something at the park to
yeah,
the state, and the state called the town hall. The town hall told them, we got the funding. State said, find it.
Okay, well,
Again,
yeah.
this is third hand. I don't
Yeah.
have it written in front
Yeah.
of me. And that's kind of like.
yeah, I mean, we're not lawyers. We're not lawyers, so we can't go back. You know, we can't really see what would happen in that state of mind because that's like a park is also an open recreation place that everybody. It's this.
And I
Yeah.
understand.
So you know, okay. So the 95,000 for it. I mean, it would really be good if you guys could like look for grants for stuff like that too. I mean, that's just such a high number for what it is. And I mean, in my opinion, the fact that you guys only charge $40 a day to it makes it a lot harder because like I can't. Oh, we're gonna spend let's say $100,000 on putting an ADA ramp there, but you guys only rent it out how many times a year? Maybe 30, 40 times a year. I would guess.
Probably more than that.
Probably
Depends on
more?
the season, but yeah.
Okay.
I mean, people rent it for parties. There's been weddings over there, believe it or not. They
Okay.
go for pictures. They do Christmas parties.
Yeah, they rent it.
Is there another way it can be done? So is there another way that we can get ADA compliance over there without building the ramp like that?
I had an engineer in there examining it. This was the best solution he came up with. We spent 10 grand on that.
Okay.
Architect in there, and this is the best he came up with for us.
And he only gave you that one option of saying that I mean,
Because you gotta get it coming from the parking lot. You can't, you know.
and you can't do it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So, it's tough, believe me. I didn't like it when I got it.
No,
Again,
nobody
that's
would.
one price I got though, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do appreciate you putting the work in and getting a concrete
I
number.
got one more price that's supposedly gonna be getting to me.
Okay.
Just haven't seen it yet. He keeps promising it and I haven't seen it.
Yeah. I mean, as a townsperson, I look at the next 3 years of what you're asking for, and you're asking for 200,000 in 3 years,
Yep,
which more than 200,000, 200.
175.
175,000.
175,000 in 3 years.
What is it?
175. You look at the bottom row right here.
I'm looking at these three.
Oh, the wood stove. I didn't put. So that's one thing. I didn't put the wood stove on here too. So let me see.
I thought I had heat on there, but I didn't see it, but I thought I forgot to put it in, so I'm sorry.
No, I must have forgot to put it into the actual.
All right.
Oh no. So
Next 3 years.
yeah. So okay. So this year you're asking for 95 for the ramp and 45 for the roof.
Yeah.
If I can, yeah, that roof is, I know again, this is the, last October is the first we've ever been asked.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know that. I get
So we're
that.
trying to break ground, figure out how to do it, how to adjust it.
How do we do this before then?
Town meeting articles.
For each individual, you say, okay, we need a new
I did
ADA ramp.
Have you ever done it for something this high
3 years ago, I personally did one for 30,000,
and it got approved?
and I got it. I updated the electrical in the place. The sills was rotted out in it, and
Mm-hmm. Okay.
that's where I got 10 grand to do the plans for the ADA ramp.
Okay.
I've only been on the committee maybe 5 years. Prior to that, not a lot was being done. A couple of us younger guys got into it, and we're trying to, unfortunately, we're behind the 8 ball,
Yeah.
to be blunt. We're catching up, we're trying to get caught up to where it should have been done. Stuff was let go.
Yeah. No. I understand that. I mean, like
The roof is the original from when it was built in the 70s.
Okay.
It was built in the 70s, so it's not historical, so there's no
Yeah.
CPC, no funding and that
I
like
tried all
that.
that, and I went at 30,000, and I got.
Have you called the VOTEC? Have you?
I have not yet, no.
Okay, so the VOTEC, they're licensed contractors, right? The teachers are licensed contractors, right? They might be able to give you a better price because that's like
That's not bad.
that's a different type of building than they would normally be doing. Like they might be
Like
something
the
that's
roofing?
well, the roofing and the ADA ramp because
The roofing is two different roofing materials.
Yeah.
Roofing,
Wood on the
is
front.
cedar
Front and
shingles,
back.
and the back is asphalt shingles.
So, I mean, it might be one of those things that they want to go through and do, like, all of it. I mean, so, honestly, Michael, like, I appreciate the work that you're doing with it. I personally I can't see spending the 95 this year on the ADA ramp. I mean, like, you know, the roof replacement might be a better option if we wanted to put it in there instead of the ADA ramp. But I think, honestly, you know, we have $350 to spend this year on when it comes to capital funds. You know, I just don't see spending a third of that on the ADA for, you know,
I understand.
For a
that,
ramp
so-
that isn't.
Yep.
yeah, that isn't. I mean, if you know, in my opinion, like if like Camp Quaney, every time somebody rents it out there, it's $500 or something like that, right? Or a wedding is like $9,000 for a day there, right? So like, you can see the investment, like the return over a shorter period of time.
I fully understand.
So
Yeah, I think we have a good starting point now.
Yeah.
Like if we turn our attention, the committee turns its attention to funding source.
Yeah.
You know, now that we have
Yes.
prices and a good idea
Yeah.
of what needs to be done and these 4 projects and what they're going to cost.
Yeah, I'm hoping the town planner, I thought was gonna be getting into doing grants too, and I can talk with him and see if he can help me out at all too.
I think he is for like
Yeah, he does
his area of,
Yeah.
of things that are there. You know,
My theory is ask, words can tell you no.
so even though it's not technically a historical building, like I don't know if you could talk to the historical commission to see if they might know of any
Yeah.
thing like that might help. And I'd absolutely reach out to the VOTech
Yeah.
because the
Okay,
VOTech.
great idea.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, because they love projects, and that's a bizarre project for them to do. So they might be interested in it. Well, not bizarre, but it's a different project, and it's not just like a house, right? Like it's an old building, you know, that they can
That
fix
also
up. And
involves a lot of conservation stuff too. You gotta do hay bales, you gotta do socks, you gotta
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
There's a lot, and that's why part of it's so high, is you got all that environmental stuff that you
Yeah.
have to do before you can even touch anything.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, it's right
I
in
mean,
the
to
stream.
at least cut it. I mean, say if that cuts it in half, right? You need someone to do the excavating and some of the conservation stuff, and then the VOTech can pick up from there. And,
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever they might be able to do. So from those
Yeah.
plans that you have. So
No, I appreciate
So you got one number from one person to do everything, and it was 95.
that's to do the.
He would do the conservation, to do the
Yep,
excavating,
the
and
whole
do the
ADA
building.
ramp project. That's
Yeah,
the
you
whole-
give them the check, and
You give
the,
him
and
a
the
check
ramp
and
is
do
built.
that with a ramp over
And they,
there.
and they do it.
Okay, okay, cool.
And then, yeah, the sluice way, the sluice way I'm referring to is for the water wheel.
Okay,
That's.
The sluice way is what part of the water
The
wheel?
water wheel?
We have a water wheel,
We do.
and is it in good shape?
Brand spanking new.
And it's sitting over here?
Yes. There's
And we need a
separate article that's going in for that.
Okay.
When that was done, again, it was prior to me and my chairman's being on the board. They underfunded / forgot about.
forgot about the sluice box or the water
The
wheel.
stand for the water wheel.
Okay,
To mount the water
this is
wheel.
the stand. It's kind of an important
That-
piece of the water wheel.
We had the drought, and we were like, this is perfect, let's get this put in.
Yeah.
Called the guy, saying, we still need to make the stand, and it's still, I can't think of the number off the top of my head, but I want to say it was around 9 grand. I'm going, what?
How
What are
much?
you talking about?
9
9 grand.
for the
Right
stand?
now, the price of steel and building materials, anybody in construction right now is through the roof.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, we're kind of stuck in the water here.
So the 35,000 is for the stand and then some? It's the,
Yeah, I know it had to be a minimum of 35. I just put the number there, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah,
I
okay.
don't have a real number.
Okay.
I'm not gonna, I won't lie.
but it's to make it work again. The
Yeah,
idea is you're
It's not
gonna,
gonna take $35,000, I guarantee you that.
So did you get a quote? Actually, going back to that, did you get a quote for the roof?
The roof, yes, I got,
You did.
God, I probably got about 10 different quotes, anywhere
Okay.
from 15 grand to 50 grand.
Okay.
Just for the roof, which blows my mind that it could be that big of a difference.
Yeah.
For the exact same job.
So I'm not sure if you know Roger Means. Not sure if you know him or not.
I might know.
Might know him,
I
yeah.
might.
So he does, not him doing it, but we have a roofing contractor that does
I got a
everything in
price from him.
Canada. You
Believe
did?
it or not, he's by almost $50,000 estimate.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting, okay. Okay,
Yep, nope, been there already. That's who I started with.
okay, okay.
So that's why I kept searching.
Okay, no, it makes sense. We have a couple of them up there too, so I'm not sure if you went through that one in particular one that did, because we need to go with a, kind of getting off track, but we need to go with one particular vendor for the lodge roof.
That was the
because
one I
they,
talked to.
yeah, okay, so that's different. We have another one who does the other part of the, because we had to go with that vendor because they're the only ones that had that color shingle.
Yeah.
So then they wouldn't sell it. So the green shingles that's on top of the lodge over there, during the pandemic, we had a patch that needed to be fixed with the HVAC system. Nobody had them. The only person we had was this one roofing company that had those shingles, and it was covered by insurance and stuff like that. But
Yeah, that's the guy I had.
yeah, there's another one out there that we've used for a couple other projects that we have for a couple of things for the storms and stuff like that. So ask him if you
All right.
you have the same
I got
vendors.
a whole envelope full of estimates
Okay.
for that stuff.
Okay, that makes sense. So, do you think the 45,000 is what you're going to need, or is it going to be less, like 25 or something
I
like
think it'll
that?
probably be less.
Okay,
you're hoping to be less.
okay,
I gave extra due to
yeah,
inflation of
Okay.
materials right now.
Okay.
Who knows which way it's gonna go.
okay. No, that makes sense. Cool.
I don't
Awesome.
like being exact and then having no cushion if there's a problem.
Yeah, no, that's good.
We'll come back.
Okay,
I'll be sure of that.
cool. Any other questions for Mike?
line item 4, you said is a wood stove, but a few minutes earlier you said
We
electric.
want to replace the wood stove.
Replacement for the wood stove
And
with
we're
electric
thinking it would be
heaters.
safer, where that place is so all wood, everything wood. You got people in there renting it, you don't know everybody's ability on a wood stove. So we thought about going to possibly a couple hanging electric heaters or something to that nature.
What about pellet? What about like a pellet stove, electric pellet stove?
That's a possibility too.
Yeah, because
We're
that's
looking at easy for operation for the renters. And again, it's an entire volunteer committee.
yeah.
Less work for the volunteers they have to do in the place to clean up after anybody. 'Cause
Yeah.
anybody that rents it, they clean it and bring their trash back out with them.
Yeah. The only
Wood
reason.
stove, the ashes were getting left there. The pellet
Yeah.
stove, your ashes would be left there. Now we gotta get rid of the ashes.
Yeah, well, the pellet stoves that they have nowadays are
Oh, they're great. I got one in my house. I put a brand new one in this year.
yeah. So like they're not like I remember the old ones that we used to have up at a cabin. It was terrible to work with. Like it was ashes would get everywhere. But I just think that in my opinion, like if you put electrical heaters over there, it'll kind of ruin the vibe of the aesthetics of it. So I mean that's completely your choice though. But that's just
Oh, I hear you. I like input, so input is great.
okay. Awesome. So okay, great. So
Thank you for all you do.
yeah,
volunteering.
thanks, Mike.
That's
No, no
Appreciate it.
problem. That's right. I do.
No, you did a good job. Appreciate it. Okay, cool.
Thank you
Thanks,
very
Mike.
All right, thank you.
Have a
guys.
good night.
I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, Jameson. Last but not least, Hanson Highway Department. Here we go. So we got a couple things here. So okay, so you got 2 items coming up this year. Well, you got 3 items coming up this year, but one of them shows as the highway department building. I'm gonna imagine you're not doing that in fiscal '24, right?
I don't see that being done in the next, I'm gonna be put here another 7 years. I don't know if it's gonna happen.
Okay. Okay.
Still like trying to find a site for it now.
Okay. So do you want us to move that to somewhere else, like 29 or something like that? Just because so everybody knows it's there.
Yeah, I would move it to 20, I wanna push it up too far, but 26?
26. Okay, we'll move that to 26. Okay, 7.5 million for 26. Okay,
More like 17, but
17 million. Oh, good.
that's the
Good.
last one.
Oh, that's good. Great. Well, we got the good news is the regional high school debt's coming off in 2 years too.
Yeah.
So you might line up pretty good with that.
Exactly,
Yeah,
yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, it's not a good time to borrow money right now.
No. Okay. Cool. So you have the unit 6 for 140, and then you have the dump with sander for 295 coming up for this year. Is that it?
Yep, and then
Okay.
I had,
I thought there was something else.
yeah, there was a radio, I put an article for radios, truck mounted radios, 38,000.
Okay.
And then, repair the roof of the garage of the shop for 10,800. And that was back from 2014, they did a facility study. Said that the garage roof needed immediate replacement, $200,000. So I'm just looking for a Band-Aid to get us through, because it's been leaking since, I don't know.
Okay. I'm looking. Where am I missing the radios on here? Where am I missing the
Yeah, I
radios?
talked to Lisa about that, she said they might be able to get ARPA money for that, so she said put it on as an article.
Okay.
But, yeah, it's
Okay.
on an article.
ARPA money for radios?
For
What's that?
radios.
For radios?
Truck mounted radios, they did a communications upgrade.
Yeah, but it just seems like weird to say it's ARPA, but.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just got to be kind of so.
Well, there's a need for them, I mean.
Yeah.
Put it on.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the price, 38,000, that would be for truck mounted, the ones we have now don't communicate with the new network that they set up with the police and fire. We have walkie-talkies, but
Yeah.
those only last so long in battery life.
Okay.
The guys, they go on the radios now, it's all static, and how they hear each other. So the idea is if you have like an emergency,
So-
hurricane, whatever, we have to communicate with the first responders.
Okay.
It's kind of
And you said that's 38,000.
38,000.
Okay. For
how many radios?
What's that?
How many radios?
12.
12 radios. And total of 38,000.
Yes.
You
Okay.
got that?
I don't have that in here, but if
Yeah, you didn't put that on your form, right?
No, that
Right.
was.
okay. Yeah, I was about to, so if Lisa asked you to put in another article for that for
Here's a copy of the articles if you want.
oh, thank you. $10,000 to improve the general roads, gravel. Okay, so that doesn't really
That
apply
gives
to
you
us.
explanations.
38,000. So who's that one?
Yeah, when they did the communications upgrade, they only basically bought 2 truck mounted radios. I
Okay.
have one, the supervisor, I have one, and that's it.
I mean, you wouldn't need the articles for the 2 trucks, right? Because we would put that in our matrix if we approve both of those. I mean, so if it came into a situation where we didn't approve one of them and you wanted to throw in your own article for that, I mean,
Sure.
that's.
Yeah, that's just
but-
what I gave that, you know.
Yeah. And then this one too should be under us as well. If it's, I don't, cause, yeah, raise and appropriate and transfer the funds of that, so that should be in here also.
Yeah.
So you're saying there is an article for the radios?
So there's an article right here for the radios, right?
Okay.
It hits our capital matrix expenditure, so that should be on us.
Should we
Right.
add that?
So, I mean, we can, but then we have the 2 articles right
The 2
here.
trucks,
Jameson,
yeah.
you put in articles for all your stuff every year, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So,
Then it goes on to the matrix, so it doesn't, I mean.
yeah, then it goes, okay.
Just put them on, just so, because the explanation's there.
Yeah, no,
this
that
is-
makes sense.
I like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that goes through, so
Like,
what,
one of the trucks is 17 years old, and then the other one.
And you can't keep it going?
and is that the sander? The sander
It's a
truck?
Small dump.
They're both
Okay,
Sanders,
small.
right? Both
Yeah.
trucks you're replacing with
One's a
Sanders?
small dump truck, and then one's a large, heavy duty dump truck.
Okay.
So the F-350 is a Sander also?
Yeah, it's a
Unit
sand,
6,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, because we use those to sand like town wall.
Okay.
Okay. You need this back? Can I have this?
You can have it.
Oh, thank you. Okay,
So are
so
you gonna add the radios to this line item?
I will have to add the radios to this, yes. I'll have to add the
I don't know
radios
about the
to
timing of
our
the-
priority matrix as well, if we put it on there. The only question that I have, Jameson, is for the trucks, right?
Yep.
So this year you're getting 2 trucks, right? So you're looking to get the Freightliner 6 with sander, and then the 350 dump truck unit 6. So what? Freightliner 6 dump, right?
Yeah.
And then the unit 6, which is the 350 dump truck, right? It's not the same thing, I'm imagining.
One's a
So
big freight liner,
okay.
the other one's just.
How can we spread this out so we have like 1 truck a year? Like, is that possible?
Well, I mean, you could, but you're just pushing other stuff back in the matrix.
So,
But you actually are, you have the rest of there are 1 truck or 1 vehicle. I mean, there's a trackless vehicle in 2028, but there's 1
Yeah.
multi-$100,000 process
so
each year.
so here's the thing.
The thing is that they haven't really been replacing the equipment. Originally,
Yeah.
these trucks were slated for 2018, 2019, and now here we are into
So it's,
23, 24. So they're
they're
gonna fail at some point, so.
Spread.
So
5 years past
They're 10
when you
years past
expected.
there.
they're not new. Like,
No,
they need to be. They definitely need to be replaced.
One's
Like,
19, the other's 23.
But, and is
yeah.
it getting to the point where you're putting more money into maintenance than,
Yeah,
you know,
that was on the form.
yeah?
yeah. So that's on the. Yeah, like the extent of use, the condition.
The problem was when I first came, I mean, they had a turnover at the director and they weren't putting in for any trucks or anything for like 2 or 3 years, so it kind of had.
Yeah, that'll cost.
Can you buy these with debt? Can you do debt exclusions with these big $300,000 trucks?
I don't see why not.
I mean, is that so? And the reason I ask is because I think when we talk to the town accountant, we have like in total free cash, we have $897,000.
Yeah.
I think it was $897,000 in free cash, like across
I
the
mean, by the
town.
time these trucks come in, it
So-
could be, the larger truck, you're probably looking at 2 years before it comes in, but the thing is, you have to order them and lock the price in, otherwise they just keep going up.
Right.
Because that similar truck to that, 295, would have been 240 like last year, so it just keep going up, so. Then the following year, I have the, if you look at the 2025, I have my truck replacement, which at that time, if I get it next year, I'll be 9 years old.
And then you have a backhoe also so that's
About 100,000 miles
Okay.
on it, so
okay. So, okay.
kind of in like,
No,
kicking the can down the road from the time.
yeah, I get it. I mean, and you the trucks. I mean,
I'm just trying to get caught,
yeah.
You,
I get
you,
it.
you list on Form C, you list the prior year maintenance cost. Is that higher because of the age? Like would a new truck be a lot less
Yeah.
yearly maintenance, or is this,
That's
or do you
right.
say every truck's gonna be this amount?
Yeah, so the unit 6, that's a 2005, so that's, next year will be 19 years old.
Yep,
Then the other truck, the
22 years old,
Yeah.
not Unit 4. So the Freightliner's
So basically, we have one small truck that's newer, and that's probably 5 years old now. And that's, these are departments after 5 years, they get new. That's like our new vehicle is 5 years old.
Yeah.
It's a good vehicle.
Can
We
you,
have one large truck that's newer, and then another one that's pushing, one of them's 7 years old, and the other one's 8. Those are our newer ones. So, I mean, you gotta get trucks if you don't.
no, I mean,
So you're thinking about, based on this matrix, this here, you're thinking about, can he push one of the 2 trucks to the right?
I'm not saying push. I'm not saying push and not purchase it. I'm saying see if he can do some kind of do some of this on like a debt like $300,000.
Right, you mentioned that, but I thought you also said, can you do it so there's 1 truck a year?
So I mean, ideally, we want to get to the point where Jameson's coming here once a year, or like having like essentially 1 truck a year, right? Like you could say, okay, I need 150 this year and kind of getting, because the problem
how
is
many pieces of machinery are there, and how many years do they last, and does it fit
The truck
in?
that we're replacing on the Unit 6, that is lacking any kind of power, so if you load it up with anything, it can't haul.
Right.
So
It's a hauling vehicle that
It's a
doesn't
hauling
haul,
vehicle,
so
it's haul asphalt, or
Yeah.
repairs or trailers.
yeah. I guess what I'm thinking is to do it a vehicle or something a year. You need to be able to say how many vehicles are there. I mean, I know that these aren't all trucks. There's some other things in there.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
then what's their longevity?
Like a
And does
tree
it?
bucket truck there that could probably, do without, if we had to, move them,
Yeah. But if you said, okay, I can keep things for 10 years and I've got 10 trucks, then that works.
Yeah,
Because
you
you
have 4
can.
trucks.
How many?
well, four
You have 4 trucks, but you also got other things in here.
Yeah, like backhoe stuff. Like how
Yeah,
often does a
I'm talking about
backhoe
all
need to be
your equipment.
replaced? Like I'm just curious. Like
that?
how often does a backhoe need to be replaced? Every 12 years, 15
Yeah,
years?
that would be long.
Okay, so like let's say every 10 years, right? So if you had 10 pieces of equipment, like one.
That's what I'm saying.
Every year you could go ahead and do like a rotating,
Yeah.
piece.
Like how many-
As I say, the problem was that they haven't been doing that.
Yeah, no, yeah.
How many pieces of equipment do you have, and what's their average longevity? Could it fit into one a year?
Yeah, once you get them.
Once you
get
I guess
to
that's what he's
yeah.
asking, is not
Okay.
today.
I mean,
So-
the inventory has
in the
11
future.
things on it.
What is it?
The inventory has 11 things on it.
So if you could say every 11 years, you
One of them is brand new.
Everything.
Unit 9 was just funded last year, right?
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's gonna replace one of the 23-year-old or the 19-year-old.
Yeah, okay.
But again, we're not probably gonna get that for another year, and then this other one, if we order, you're probably looking at 2 years out on these, so.
I mean, honestly, I would go up and ask Gene or the town accountant how you can get the 300,000 for putting that into a debt exclusion.
Yeah.
Instead of using free cash out of it.
Sure.
The 140, I don't, that's doable, but the 300,000, it just seems like something that should be spent that should be debted, right? I mean,
Yeah, well, it would be the entirety nearly, right? That's the capital.
yeah. I mean, that'd be all of our budget, but
Right.
I mean, and honestly on that, like, it's like, I don't know if other departments just go off and buy trucks in one bang like that though. So like even the fire department, they were saying, ambulance 1, like they put it in the ambulance and they pay it off over time, right? So I'm not sure like
Because
what
even if
the,
you like kicked Unit 4 to next year, then you have the other pickup trucks, so you're still looking at 2 vehicles
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah, that's where if there was one a year, there would only be one a year, and you could, instead of paying
yeah, but
it off.
I guess it's more of like a question about how, not necessarily where the money, not necessarily like if the truck is needed, but where the money's going to come from. Like so, like for a $300,000 truck, do you really just want to use free cash for $300,000, or
Yeah,
do you want
nobody's
to do
saying
a
we
debt
don't
exclusion
need it.
over 10 years, right? Because you're paying off little by little, right? So, like for 100, like 140s, like that's 140, you can put it out, that's fine. But like for 300,000, I feel like that should be something that's paid off over like 10 years, right?
Yeah.
It's like a large amount. I don't know. Am I crazy? Or?
No, you're not.
Okay. Okay.
And did you mention that to the accountant at all? The town accountant?
No, I didn't. No. I mean, I can't go up to him and ask him if Jameson could put.
No, I didn't know if he
Jameson
had
wants a 300
ideas, like you mentioned
You
that.
got
Yeah.
some money if you want.
Yeah. Jameson, I would ask Gene and Eric about that to see if you can put that, because I don't think we're going to be able to put that and spend our capital free cash on it, but I think that you'll probably be able to get a debt for that.
Yeah.
And that just means you can get it funded this year. I'm not sure how that would be placed in an article, though. I think it would read a little bit different.
Sure.
To raise and appropriate I think it'd be a little bit different, but if you want to check with them about that, that'd probably be the easiest way to do it.
Sure.
We probably need to do that soon if the article needs to change at all. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that would need to be,
That
that,
sounds like Eric.
yeah, Eric's here tomorrow, I think, because he's here on Tuesdays, but if he says no, that's not gonna work, then let me know, and then we can, like, we can figure out what's going on with it, but, okay. Does anybody have anything else, for Jameson? No, good?
No.
Good?
Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
Jameson.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And what do you think about the form? Did you?
Did
I
you
love
like,
the forms.
forms are great. Forms are awesome.
Yeah, try to make it easy.
Thank
The
you.
new ones I'll use those next year. I got these in early, so
Oh,
they seem
okay.
similar. I get
Thank
rid
you
of
for
the
doing it
B.
early.
Yeah, there's no B anymore. Well, there is a B, but we got rid of the old B and put the new B in there. So,
Very eloquent as always, Mr. Chairman.
yeah, thank you.
We had to make it be even if it was blank.
What did you think about the roof there?
About what?
The roof of the garage?
The roof of the garage. So, that was, where was that on the article? So I don't see is that the ceiling and painting the garage
Yeah.
roof, right? The 10,000, that doesn't fall within our purview.
Okay.
The 10,008, yeah, that's an article. I mean, we can't,
All right.
we're 5-year, $35,000, so
Yeah.
that's like something the selectmen would approve to put on the warrant, and then you do it there,
Yeah,
so.
that and the radio.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep,
All right.
cool. Thanks, Jameson. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, I appreciate your effort.
Yeah, actually, the radios, yeah, that's a good point. So the radios for the 38,000 on here too. So I'll have to add the radios on here, but I mean, it seems
Did that
pretty-
just come up after you submitted the forms?
Yeah, because I was
Okay.
talking to them about it. They were waiting on a price for them.
Okay,
And,
cool.
yeah, it's just, you know.
So he submitted it earlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do those police cars that Chief Mix is getting rid of come with radios? They have radios in them that you
Yeah,
can
they
take
have
out.
radios in 'em, yeah.
Are you able to take them out and use them for some of your trucks too?
They might swap them out on their vehicles. I don't know if they come with it, you know,
Yeah.
I think that they might go and replace the ones we have into another truck, but the ones we have aren't compatible with
Yeah,
the
okay.
system.
Yeah,
But
it's
if they have compatible
compatibility
ones,
issue.
they'll, yeah, because I know they remount them, my mechanic will remount the radios into new vehicles, so I think
Okay.
they swap them out.
Okay, cool.
As they can, as long as they're viable.
Yeah, I mean, the radios seem pretty self-explanatory, so, cool. Thanks, Jameson.
Hi, John. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yep, thank you. So we got a few more, yeah.
Yes, we have, planning doesn't have anything. Hanson Library. Let's see this. They have a carpet
say
replacement for
about
this
the
year.
library?
The Hanson Library has a carpet replacement this year
Yep.
for $50,000. So there's that.
That's
The bit-
what do you,
Do they have it on the matrix for 50,000? I don't think they submitted a form for it.
Oh,
though.
okay.
I don't think
They
they
didn't
have.
see the
They didn't
form.
have a form
Okay.
for it. So
Was that like, oh yeah, initial date of 2018?
Yeah, I'm gonna scratch that. So
Yeah,
because they've got the
yeah, that's a legacy.
HVAC, yeah.
yeah,
Is that on here?
the HVAC is a different story. So
Didn't that get a? Wasn't that from fall town meeting?
it was an ARPA grant, but our town administrator put in for the grant and it got denied. So we'll move on to Whitman Hanson Regional School District though before we talk about that. So I have a meeting with Jeff and George from the Whitman Hanson Regional School District on Thursday to go over their capital matrix that they have. They have a capital matrix just for the school.
Right.
Right? A 5-year ones, but they don't give us any of that information until that year. And then they give us like what they need. So like, for example, if you look at the Whitman Hanson Regional School District, what they have listed here is the network switches and the touch view interactive panels, right?
Yep.
They have this, they already know what they're gonna be spending for fiscal year 25, 6, 7, 8, 9. They just don't give us that information.
Okay.
Right, so they have essentially a matrix that they use for their
Right.
own capital, but they just don't give it to us.
But you gave them this?
I gave them that and they filled it out for what they needed for this year. That's it. So I have a meeting with Jeff and George on Thursday to go over and actually get their matrix and go into a procedure and say, we want
This is what's happening from now on.
we want your 5 years of matrix that you're
Mm-hmm.
going to give us, and we're going to present it to the town people at our town election. So or town meeting. Sorry.
Yeah.
So everybody knows like this is what the school does. We don't need to necessarily put their matrix into our matrix because they already have a matrix. We just have to present their matrix with our matrix. I feel like, right?
You wouldn't
I mean,
put their matrix into our matrix?
I mean, we can, but it would just be.
Yeah.
I'd rather the matrix come from them, right? So like
Okay.
their matrix would say, okay, this is what my 5-year plan is for capital from
Mm-hmm.
the school district, and then we can say, okay, this is actually what we're funding, and kind of go from there. Maybe
So
it'll
you'd
be two separate
remove it from
articles.
here?
Essentially, yeah, I'd remove it from here, and then we'd put in their request. I don't know.
Is this only the Hanson responsibility?
This is the Hanson responsibility. Yes.
Only.
Yep. So if you look under their Form B for Whitman Hanson Regional High School, right here, you'll see that it has 158 for the total network switches. Is that network switches? Yeah. And ours is 40%.
Okay.
So yeah, it's only for the Hanson share. The only problem that I have though is that number one, I also reached out to the Whitman Capital Improvement Committee chair
Okay.
to see if I can talk to them about what they're planning on funding, if they're funding all of it, or if they're funding a portion of it, or if they're just doing the network switches this year, and kind of how we can make this process a little bit easier. Mr. Weeks, how to make this process a little bit easier going forward, and if we can kind of interact on a basis. So, Indian Head and Hanson Middle are our responsibility 100%. We can not fund whatever we want. High school, on the other hand, I don't feel like we can not fund the network switches if Whitman's doing it. What are they going to do? Have half like
Yeah, you guys
Whitman
get half a
network
network,
switches and
yeah.
then Hanson network switches? Like
Well, but you guys can play with these.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like the touch field, like we can't do half and So it's one of those things that I'm really not sure how to handle. I don't know if these. If the Whitman Hanson Regional High School capital items should be on another article that the town votes on just by themselves, I'm just not sure. So, yeah, Joe.
Thanks, I didn't want to interrupt. I apologize, guys.
No
I
problem.
could be in 3 places at once, too.
No
It's hard to do that.
Okay, so this is recorded too, so make sure you don't say anything crazy. Okay, so
Challenge accepted.
I'm not really sure how to handle that, so.
So how does that work on other years? They say for this fiscal year, this is our budget. You guys.
Oh, they don't care.
Yeah.
Whitman Hanson Regional School District doesn't,
I know.
they don't give a,
Yeah.
they don't care.
They don't give any information.
No, not only that, but
Wait
then
until last minute.
yeah, we could tell them that, we have no budget for capital items, they still put in $300,000 worth of
Yeah.
it, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like we just gotta figure out
But
how
it doesn't
we're
come
gonna-
out of, like their stuff doesn't come out of our free cash.
No, it does.
comes out of,
No, it does. This
does.
comes out of our free cash.
Yeah, everything, we fund everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, out of the general budget.
So if we were to approve just the school district items here that we have listed for this year, it would cost us $350 in free cash.
Yeah. And historically, they've always done that because they wanted, the way it was explained, and I don't disagree with it, but the way that it was explained is they want people to see how much need there is, so they ask for all of it. And that's just the way it is.
but how can we say no?
Of course.
But like we can't say no to half.
I don't know how you would.
How you do that because it's.
But chances are, if we said no to hypothetically,
of them.
if we said no to the network switches of the high school,
Yeah.
chances are Whitman would probably be like, yeah, no, we're just going to take that off because they didn't fund the other half anyway, right? So I mean, I would probably think that'd be the rational because they wouldn't fund half the network switches. That does.
So you're saying they
might.
Whitman wouldn't fund the other half?
I would assume that if we went through and said the touch view panels for the high school are not going to go this year and they're going to go
Yeah.
next year, we're just
Yeah.
going to do the network switches.
Yeah.
Whitman might be like, well, they're not funding it anyway, so we might as well not fund it this year until next year anyway, right?
Right.
So my original idea was like, okay, for the Indian Head and the Hanson Middle School, right, we can take, like, why would we do all of the touch view panels this year? Why wouldn't we do half this year and half next year? But the problem is I don't know what they have on their actual
Next
capital
year.
matrix
Yeah.
to see if they have
Right.
like another set of, maybe this is half of the touch view panels that
Right,
need to be
right.
replaced, so I don't know, so.
Yeah. They usually put our portion on here, not the entirety of it.
Well, so this is our portion.
Yeah.
So the network switches and the touch view interactive panels for the high school is our portion of those items. Indian
That's why they're
Head,
supposed to be here
yeah.
today, though.
Well,
To answer these questions.
Oh, it is, okay. That's-
Indian Head and Hanson Middle School, those are all ours. We cover all of those. So yes, and I did that. I followed up on that 3 times specifically for that reason. And that's why when I didn't get a response, I went to the assistant superintendent and Jeff, the superintendent, and it was like, I think we need to meet about this whole stuff right here. You can come if you want. It's on Thursday, if you're around.
It's
You should.
not 3 days. Wouldn't that be a meeting?
No, just if it's just 2 people.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have a quorum. So
But like, we can't make any decisions based off what's going on in your meeting. Right.
we can't anyway, because even if my meeting was tomorrow, we couldn't, because they all needs to be submitted tonight. We need to
Right.
give the select board our articles today.
Right.
So, no, but hopefully we can come up with some process that makes it easier
For the future.
for the future to come into it. So we have to make our own best judgment right
Yeah.
now.
Okay.
And then hopefully next year it gets a little bit better.
Okay.
Sorry, Ken, I'm trying my hardest.
No, you're good. You're
Trying
doing
my
great.
hardest. So, yeah, I don't know how you guys want to handle that. I'm taking one of these. I was here. Thanks.
You've been stealing them?
Squirreling, as I like to call it.
Squirreling, yes.
I don't steal anything. I don't need any.
yeah.
Unbelievable. You're gonna get me in trouble on YouTube.
Yeah. So I don't really know how to handle these. I'll take suggestions. I'll take suggestions on how to handle this, this school district stuff.
I have a feeling that more often, what they're probably going to do is circumvent this altogether and just ask for articles on the warrant. They're not even going to come through us.
Well, they haven't yet,
Yeah.
and the warrant's closed, right? You guys are closing the warrant tomorrow.
Yeah, but I don't know what's on it. So you know for a fact they haven't? Because I haven't seen a single thing.
I'll check with Lisa tomorrow.
Have you?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I haven't either. So.
Hey, maybe in May you can start like you said.
Yeah. So, quick question: if we want to just try our best at this thing, is the enrollment at Hanson Middle and Indian Head now the same? Because isn't it 4 and 4? Is it 4 grades and 4 grades?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
No.
No, Indian Head
No,
is
kindergarten.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh,
No.
yeah, if you count
Kindergarten.
kindergarten, I forgot about that. Yeah. So 5 if you count kindergarten.
And the middle school is
4,
4. Okay.
5, 6, 7, 8.
So like the ask being for the same,
Makes sense.
does it?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay.
So,
That you need the
IT
same number
wise,
of panels for
I-
5 grades that you need for 4?
it depends about class size and how many classrooms you actually have, right? So
Sure.
It's one per class, right? Or
it is one per
Yeah.
class. Yeah, it's one per class, but they have. So touch view. Okay, so this is what they did. Look at this. They have interactive panels for Indian Head and Hanson Middle School. I split them in half. That's what I did.
Okay.
Oh,
gotcha.
you
So
did.
so I split them in half.
So
yeah.
I'm arguing with you. No.
Yeah, no, you're arguing with me, not the school system. The same thing with the network switches too, I believe.
I think there's an Excel error too, by the way.
An Excel arrow.
Yeah.
So are they
7
usually
plus.
included as one,
It's right on the right. but it's
School?
wrong right there.
like,
So-
you split them in half, but is there a benefit of,
They gave it to me like this. They gave it to me at
Yeah,
24.
that makes more sense, honestly,
Yeah,
that they would submit it like that.
what he has
2408.
splitting it up makes more sense?
What's that?
You're saying a line item for each school makes more sense than the way they gave it to them?
I mean,
is there a reason? Is that just a legacy thing that we have different line items for Indian Head and Hanson Middle?
well, I mean, sometimes
what
they
I'm-
need 2 different things, though, right? So, like, Indian might need a roof, like for example, or like a heating system. I mean, we could
Wouldn't
do
that
it.
just be like highway, where it's like, yeah, it's this truck number 7? The line item for Hanson Public Schools would be Indian Head roof or middle school floors, or
I feel like
You know what I
yeah. I mean, I feel like
I don't think it really matters.
I feel like you'd have to separate it within the line anyway. I feel like you have to separate it somewhere. So even if it was all like one big list, all 3 schools one big list, right? You'd have to do like interactive panels, maybe Indian.
You would do interactive panels like they do it here, interactive panels with,
No, what I'm saying is like if all 3 schools were on the same like just list, it's just a Whitman Hanson Regional School District. You have to do touch view panel for Indian Head, right? Or like if they were the only ones in the, I mean, we could do it that way.
I'm saying to collapse these 2 into one and leave Whitman Hanson is a separate.
Yeah.
But are the items on the forms they filled out, these are all merged together?
Correct.
Are they
Yeah,
ever-
it's Indian Head and Hanson Middle School is all.
So what I'm saying is, could we just use it like that? Merge these two together and use that text?
I mean, you could.
And just the middle and Indian Head are one?
Yeah, I mean, we could. I mean, this is our matrix, so we can do whatever we want with it.
But it's kind of a...
It's not my matrix. I didn't put that in there. That was
You
like
didn't
that.
put the two lines in?
No, that was like that. No, I mean, I put the items in,
You put
but I
the
didn't,
items in, but
put
it
the
was
two
set- it
different.
was- So
you know,
you-
it's
to
Indian
answer
Head-
your question, it's legacy then? This
Yeah,
was, this
It's
is
Ken's
how-
fault. It's not my fault.
Yeah. You know what it is? Joe was on the committee first, so.
So we can blame it
So
all
like
on Joe.
that's the thing. Like but
No good deed goes unpunished.
so anyway what are we gonna do about that?
About the
Because
cost of it, or?
That's all of our capital funds right there. I mean, if they're just gonna take it, they're just gonna take it. But the problem is like, what do we do to?
But you say capital fund, and it's...
It's this committee's responsibility to prioritize what we believe the needs of the town are in the best use of the dollar. So if you don't feel like those are the best use of the dollar, don't fund it.
Yeah. So
But doesn't it depend on the funding source? I mean, because these are important, but they shouldn't come out of free cash.
well,
we don't have free
There's no
cash.
other way for it to come out of though. It's not coming out of the school operating budget.
Yeah.
They
Right,
assess
so
them for
without
time.
them here, we have no way to know if any of it can be pushed or anything, so it remains on the matrix and we list it the lowest priority.
I agree.
Because we have no idea if
We're
it's
only in
important.
charge of capital improvement funds that
Right.
are allocated to us.
Right.
So it doesn't matter what their other funding
Right.
sources are. And if they weren't here to defend it, then it goes low on the totem pole.
Right.
They're going to have to find it. That's
Were they invited tonight?
3
Absolutely.
times.
3 times.
Yeah, so.
They're all.
It doesn't sound like a very high priority.
Capital improvement mail box that we have from the town of Hanson. So they have it. I've invited them multiple times.
Yeah.
Then I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Historically, it's always been 4 invitations, though. So if you had asked me, I would have told you that.
So yeah, we can't prioritize something.
On
we-
camera when we can't fight back.
Yeah.
We can't even really fight back right now.
Next meeting, I'm going to put on reorganization. So, okay. So,
Still going to be an alternate.
okay.
Yeah.
So,
No, you're doing
Okay.
an awesome job. And these are all, honestly, these are all reasonable questions. These are all reasonable things to ask. But I do think that if other people were here and they were able to express the need, and we're only in charge of X amount of dollars, you have to go by what information is provided to you right now.
yep.
And that's all you can do.
Yep. I agree. Okay. So we will, let's see, what else do we have?
And it just stinks that it's going to go through
Pond
some other
Dam
way.
from
You know what I mean?
conservation. Cranberry Cove Playground,
But, you
that's,
This is
none of
this
these
is
are
going to be
coming from free
funded
cash.
somehow,
So,
even if we put it as a low priority. You know what I mean?
yeah,
our
we can discuss that after the fact if we want to, after we get
Yeah.
through these items. So let's just get through our matrix
Yep.
and what we want to do. So, Camp Kawani Commission, Cranberry Cove Playground, that is looking to be funded via CPC, so we don't need to put that on our on our town meeting article.
Correct.
It doesn't need to even be on the article?
No, because it's coming, we only need to put an article in for the free cash that we're spending. Not, this is getting funded, CPC is gonna have an
But
article.
it doesn't matter how the funding source is, isn't it? Aren't we supposed to, any town expenditure that meets
But
the...
it's on our matrix.
CPC is gonna be funding this, so
Okay.
CPC is putting
So
in an
we're gonna
article.
have an
But
article.
it's still a capital funding.
No. So, hold on.
It's on
So
here?
I think we're getting confused here, right? Because
Okay.
the capital funds that we have available to us,
Yes.
right, is the money that we get to spend on
The free
capital
cash,
stuff,
yes,
right?
yes.
There's the capital matrix, which is right here, which everything has to be on that's over 35,000.
And this is on here.
This is on here,
Okay,
yes.
perfect.
But this is
Yep.
being funded by a town meeting article from CPC if they push
Yeah.
it at Wednesday night's meeting. So we don't need to put it in our capital
Okay. Yep.
town meeting article.
Yep.
So that's good. The Hanson Historical Commission, they have 2 things that they're going to CPC for, so we don't have to worry about the Hanson Historical Commission, and the town
So
clerk
the-
didn't have anything on it.
This is all going through CPC.
This is all going, yeah, the Hanson Historical is going through CPC.
Did you decide, did you say that we are definitely going to add notations on the matrix now for the funding source?
So that's a great thing. So we have to discuss, by the way, Joe Weeks is here at 7:20, so he is now a voting member. I don't think we announced you when you first came into the meeting, so everybody knows that we now have 4 members instead of 3.
Amendment 702,
Sorry,
let the record show.
702. 702. I misread my
I've been
watch
here
wrong.
for 18 minutes.
Sorry.
Record.
Point of order, Mr. Chair. Point of order. Okay.
Oh, we're a little catty here, aren't we?
Let's go. Okay, let's go through.
How do more
Okay,
people not
so
volunteer? This is so much fun.
so the matrix portion of it, right? So the matrix. Do we should we go through and make a legend up top that says like grant, free cash,
Yes. we need
operating
something
budget,
like that.
something like that, and go
I
through.
love that idea.
Does it need
Okay.
to be a column, you're saying?
I don't think a column. I think what we would do is we would well, see now that I think about it.
You put a little letter next to
It's
the
a lot
number?
harder than you think it's going to be. I wouldn't bite off more than you can chew with this the deadline coming up. I think it's going to be incredibly. So there's pros and cons to this. I don't care which way we go. It doesn't matter to me. But I'm just saying. If you put all the funding sources in here, it's great. I just want to make sure that people don't get confused on where things are coming from and what the scope of what we're doing is. If you don't put different funding sources in, then I would say that we just don't even put all the different types of projects on here. Because the only thing we're responsible for are the capital projects that we're funding. Everything that's getting funded by something else doesn't fall in here because it's already getting funded. It's going to come off already. The minute you put it on, it gets funded, it falls off. So it doesn't matter. These are all projects that are outstanding. They're not projects that are being funded. So it honestly doesn't matter. I love the idea. I just that pros and cons. I just want you to be aware.
Sure.
What do you want to do?
So when we sent out the forms for this last town meeting, we had it on there that it was for any capital item that was over 5 years, $35,000. It doesn't matter if we fund it or we don't fund it.
No,
or
you
anything
said that
like
last time.
right?
Yeah.
So when we set that expectation of the department heads, it was essentially anything over 5 years, $35,000, right?
Right.
So
It's great.
when we go through in here and I can add a column between 24 and 25 that just say, and we can only fill it in for like that 1 year. Like we don't have to go
Right,
through and
this
do
year,
all,
yeah.
like
Yeah,
this
yeah,
year,
yeah.
free cash grant,
you
free
wouldn't
cash
even
grant,
know.
CPC, something like that, right? But so that's the thing. Like if the department heads come here, like we ask, Jameson, like, can you do like a debt on this or something? Like we can go through and ask those individual questions that are here, right? But we need to make that decision of whether we actually want to do that or whether we want to go to town meeting and say, these are items that are have various funding sources. Not all of it's free cash. Our free cash expenditures is what we have in the town meeting article, right? So like we could either put it on here or we can go to town meeting and say, if somebody questions it, say the matrix is various funding sources, right? I don't care how we do it. It's just.
Well, I'm right there with you. I'm not even. I hope this isn't being taken as being even a throwing a wrench in the gears. I truly don't care because I think it's keeping in with the mission and vision of what you want to do in the first place. I'm just thinking of the practicality of it, because even with the experience I've had, I don't know about you, but we don't even know what the funding sources is up until like the day of. My experience the past 14
That's what I'm
years-
thinking, like expected funding source
Yeah.
or something like
Or
and it can change.
It's always raised and appropriate until like the day that the warrant comes out. From my experience, I don't even know if it's coming out of free cash.
So what if rather than a column, what if, it could be parentheses, it could be something where it's, if it is known. Like I think
maybe
the
like a
you
number
said,
with a
holding to that
letter in
mission, like,
parentheses.
transparency is the goal here.
Yeah.
So if we know this 75K is being paid for by CPC for sure, that I think is helpful for people.
I would
And
put
I
it
think that
expect.
giving them that information that we know is important.
Yeah. Maybe just say.
But it
potential
would,
funding
but it's. Do we know CPC is going to be taking any of it, and do we know any of it's going to be free? Is it? We need to
They're
say
not
this.
asking for free cash. So in
They're-
theory, as far as
But
town
they're
meeting-
expected that it's going to be CPC.
Right.
Yeah,
I
but-
don't think it's what I mean. It's
but
CPC might say no, and then it won't get funded.
yes.
And
So
same
we're
with
splitting
free.
hairs. The point being,
Yeah.
it's not coming from free cash. Is actually the point.
yeah,
Right.
Is that this is not just a running total of what's being requested of the town.
Yeah.
By free
Right.
cash.
That's the thing. That's the
That's
thing is
more important.
when I go to town meeting and I see a lot of numbers, and
Exactly.
I'm looking in my head
Exactly.
saying, what I would love to see, and I know they're never going to do this, and I might put in for it, maybe not this one, but like a running tally as the meeting goes on of the funds that we have.
Like a-
We
like a
started at
population
this, and it boom, 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 and the town can be saying, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
What you're voting on
Doomsday clock.
does something. You know what I mean? You say yes or no, A lot of people say yes, 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 but that means something. And it needs to be that it means something.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's a great, I do think it's a great idea. I'm just trying to work it out so that we kind of know what's going on here. So it makes sense to me that between columns 24 and 25, you would put something in there that just says the potential revenue source.
Yeah.
Expected
I would
source
put,
if known.
I would put expected.
Expected source. Go
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Expected source.
Yeah, that
And
way it's
then-
not definitive, but like you leave it gray enough so
Should
that
we
it might
color
show-
And then it can change. Somebody,
color-code
they can.
No, they can't. No,
What is it?
no,
Color code.
Make them print off all the colored copies.
Yeah.
no expensive red is.
Yeah, and if we
Colored copies are actually expensive. Yeah.
Okay, so I can add something that says expected revenue source for the things that we know. Like there's things that we just know. Like we know that the police cars are coming out of their operating budget.
Right.
We know that
The ambulance fund
the
pays
ambulance
for
fund
most
pays for
everything
the other
except
one, right?
for
So like I'll go through and fill out.
protective clothing is, you know,
Yeah.
like I would never know that the ambulance fund is for the first 4 items and then the protective clothing is not. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but we don't even need to do is we'll just do it for this year's. So we
Yeah.
won't even talk about ambulance one replacement
But they're-
or the
they're
funding
not in
source.
there?
No, well they are, but they're in here for. We're only going to do it for fiscal year
But, this
24.
column, but that's what I'm saying. The
Yeah.
first
So
ones,
the-
where are we? Where's
right?
fire?
So ambulance is right,
You ever become
right
a
here.
chair?
So there's nothing there this year for
Do
it.
you think you could?
Oh, okay.
Right. So the only thing that we put here is 95,000.
Oh, okay.
We put
Yep,
free cash.
yep,
So
okay.
So
physically and mentally,
We-
the capacity.
we could do that. So
No.
okay, okay. Let's go through and make the actual priorities that we have for the request that we get this year. If there's no other
Do
questions,
we
about the matrix.
prioritize only things where the expected source is?
We only prioritize the things that we are
That we
spending
will
our free
spend.
cash on.
So not fire, not police,
No, fire. We have $95,000.
95,000.
So
yeah.
so yeah, okay. So
And
let me do this in a. Sorry, I'm trying to. I'm trying to think about how we can do this.
Yep.
Okay, so fire.
How much money do we have?
350.
you got that number,
Yes.
or is it?
Yeah, at the last selectment meeting, they said that was 1% of the budget.
Yep. Okay, we have. So I'm just gonna put down the. So we got Highway 2, which is the dump for 140. I don't know what's beeping over there. We got.
What's the timing of task?
W8. I'm gonna do that right now. 295. Sorry, Ed. I'm just typing
Do
through.
we have to talk about the select board and other portion?
No, because they're not here and they didn't submit an application for it. So I'm not even sure if we're going to be funding that because number one, what the hell does deferred maintenance mean?
Where'd that
What-
come
what's like,
from?
what is that? That this has been in here, so we have to we have to strip that. It's not going to be. Okay, and then we have the Nathaniel.
$25 million in totals.
So you're not going to give me $1 million?
No, not at all. I mean, you can have it if you want, but I'm not going to give it to you. Okay.
You know,
Townwide road work?
I get a pretty hefty stipend as selectman here, so I'll donate my pay to you for the next 5 years.
And that'll
38.
give me 1 year's worth of pay.
Yeah, and he can probably double it with the salary he makes as capital improvement chair.
And once again, I'm not posting this meeting to YouTube.
Oh, come on.
Once again, we're breaking the.
Unbelievable. This is why I said I didn't want to do this.
So can you explain to me why this is on here then?
I know.
Why? What's on here?
The select board items, just because they're,
I can't just remove stuff from here. So like, I mean, we have to have a committee vote to want to remove it, and then we have to reach out to the Board of Selectmen, Lisa, and see if she wants us to remove it.
yeah. So if we don't remove it, it's gonna stay on there and be on the matrix and everybody's gonna question it.
Yeah, but I mean, that's been,
Yes.
just so you know, that's been on there for years. That's never changed.
But is it like, who pays for townwide road work?
This is one of those
That
things.
isn't the highway department?
No, it would fall under the select board because we're in charge of roadways. So if you want to run a sidewalk up Main Street, for example, or connect, some of the projects, that's for it. Now, keep in mind that townwide road work,
So are we supposed to, as selectmen, go into them?
no.
Because basically, if we need townwide road work,
Yeah, this is one of those things where I was saying before that typically the town administrator would always come to these meetings pretty frequently and discuss things like this, so.
did she get the, okay.
So it's just tough, you know.
$1,030,000 is what we have for total ask this year.
For the request.
For everything. For everything. Yeah, for everything that's coming from free cash. Fire has 95, highway has 140, highway also has 295. Nathaniel Mills asking for 95, highway radios 38, Indian Heads 116, 424, Hanson Middle's 116, 424, regional high schools 135, 188.
So at the very, very bottom of FY '24 is 24 million to.
That's because the Wellfield 5 treatment is $13 million that's in there.
Yeah, but that's still leave us with well over $10 million in ask.
No, but you're counting things that are in here that are like not being funded by free cash or like not being asked for when it comes to like our budget, right? So like you're counting like, for example, the select board has $1 million of asks, right, for sidewalks. But they're not asking us to fund sidewalks. Like they haven't put in an application for us to ask.
Because of that.
Yeah, so
You're only counting the application.
He's talking the million.
I'm talking the million that we actually have to pick.
You literally got this year
Yes,
in writing.
exactly,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
Then like highway's asking, for example, highway has $7.5 million for the new building, right? But they're not doing that this year. This is gonna move to fiscal year 26. So
Gotcha.
like I just have to move that over.
So that's not bad then. So we got a third of the money that people are asking for?
Yes.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Are you serious about that? That usually. Okay.
Yeah, that's really nice.
I mean, historically speaking, we've always just looked at the entire ask and been like, oh my goodness, this is an impossible mountain to climb.
Yeah.
But through the lens of the way that this committee is being run right now, that's actually pretty good.
Did you actually stop the
If a million people ask.
Because the thing is, if you were to only count the people that were in this room tonight, you're only counting the first 5, right?
Well, I don't think he's counting only the people that showed up. It's the people
That's what
that
I'm
actually
saying.
put in applications, not
Oh,
just.
put-
Yeah, no, it's just put in applications. But I mean, like
You remove the
the
bottom
school
3.
district did not show up, but they put in the 3 because they got like so.
they did
The
put in.
the suspicion of what Joe's saying is that they're going to put in an article anyway, right? So they're going to put in an article.
Possibly.
I'll check with Lisa tomorrow to see if they submit an article for it.
Yeah,
I think they have because they do it every year.
they do. That's
So-
why I'm saying it. You know, one of the things I
So-
just don't
Yeah,
want to.
because I was missing one, and it's the radio.
yeah, the
And-
radio.
radio's
But that
not
does
on
come
there.
out of free cash, even if
Yeah.
it's in the
Okay.
article.
Even
Okay.
if stuff comes out of free cash. just
Right.
so you know,
All our
So,
stuff,
Yeah.
let's figure out how we're gonna do this and how we're gonna vote on this, right? So we have $350,000, like, we can go like a little bit over if we want to, but we can't go like,
Add
$500,000.
these 5 up, and without the truck, without Highway 8, so those 4.
So, yes, but that goes to the question too, is like, I mean, me personally, I don't wanna fund an ADA ramp for $95,000.
I do not.
No.
Listen, Mike is awesome. Like he's
that's
but that's too much.
It's
And
crazy.
I also don't want to. Me personally, I don't want to fund a $300,000 truck for highway this year.
So here's the thing. How many items you got?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8
Okay.
items.
Cross off the ADA ramp, because none of us agree, so just cross it off. And then cross off the highway truck, because that's gonna eat up the entirety of our budget. And that can last another year. What's left?
So we have protective equipment, the $140,000 truck from highway, and the $38,000 for the radios.
And then
And the
three-
That
three
brings us to
schools.
280. Just those 280.
And we have
And the
300?
schools.
Yeah.
So,
That's
okay,
our priority.
so, no,
There you go.
hold on, so this is what we do,
Throw
so,
something else in.
so we have 280 plus the schools, right?
Yep.
So if we did,
We'll give 20 to the schools.
so I'm thinking about if we,
$20.
Does it have to be exact?
for Indian Head Elementary,
I mean, you can't spend over. You just can't spend over.
Right.
I mean, within, like, reason, right? Like, I mean, it'd be
You have
kind
to
of
make an
hard.
amendment, because we're only allocated X amount of dollars. You can't spend X plus 1.
For the schools, or you talk about for us?
No, he's asking about the budget that we have. Can you spend over what we're allocated? The answer's no.
No, the answer is yes, because it's free cash, right? It's automatically taken, we don't have a budget item in our thing for,
If we're
for,
given $350,000, we can't spend $351,000.
if we're given, so technically, if we're given $350,000, not in a budget item though, like they didn't give us a budget item, like if they, so if like when we had that meeting with the town accountant and FinCom, right? If they were like, you can do $350,000 because we have 800 something in free cash,
Yeah.
right? I could be like, okay. It was more of like, I feel like it was more of a gentleman's handshake that will give them $350,000 than it was, I'm not saying we're going to go over that. I'm just saying that I don't think there's anything restricting us from doing like 400.
The 1%'s a minimum, right?
1% of our operating budget, our town operating budget, not including the schools, is 35 million.
Yeah.
Including the schools is 55 million, for somewhere around 50, 55, something like that.
Yeah.
So, okay. Okay, so what is this? This is 280 right now? Is that what you said, 280?
Just about, yeah.
95, 140, and then 38. Okay, and then what if we add the roof replacement for Nathaniel Mill Commission?
That would be right there then, right? What's that?
And that's for next.
That's 45, so that'd be 320, 325.
Okay.
And would that be, is that this year?
They requested it for that.
They requested it for this year. We just talked to Mike about it, so.
If you want to throw them a bone,
Now, what happens, I mean, all those numbers seem higher than the 45 and the 95 seem high.
Yeah.
But if they could get the ADA ramp for 45, can they do the ADA ramp and not the roof? If we say they can do the roof and not the ADA ramp? Do you know what I mean?
Can't.
Do they have to
I
do
don't
what
think they
we
can.
say?
No, they have to do what we say. They
that's what,
can't.
well, they technically don't. This is the thing that stinks, is that this committee is just an advisory committee. So they could literally just do whatever they wanted. We could do all this work and they just do what they want anyways.
No.
Meeting.
But we're talking about like okay, Mike Means was in here for the roof replacement, right?
Yeah.
If we say, okay, we'll give you $45,000 for the roof replacement, right? We write it up in the town meeting article. It gets approved in the town meeting article. Nathaniel Mill Commission roof replacement, $45,000. They can't take that $45,000
Yeah,
and put the
they
ADA
can't move
ramp
it,
in.
yeah.
Yeah, no, because it's specifically
Once it's been voted on in
it's
town
been voted
meeting.
on in town meeting, so it's
Oh,
in law.
once it's voted on town
Yeah,
meeting.
Yeah, not our part, the second
Yeah,
part.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
we could put that out, okay, I'm sorry.
But at town meeting, they
Yeah.
could change it. He could say, we've figured out
At
how
the
to get.
selectmen's meeting tomorrow, we could take that out and say we're not gonna do it.
Yes.
It's just fun, we'll
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
So,
do it, town
So
meeting, yes.
we have the sluiceway and then we have the roof replacement for the Nathaniel Mill Commission,
That's
right?
for next year, right? The sluiceway is for this year?
He has it listed here as fiscal year 26,
Yeah.
right? But he actually had
So the roof replacement wasn't even this year.
the roof replacement. One of them he combined in this.
If people are putting stuff in 26 and not in 24, then logically, the idea is that it can wait another 2 years, and that the things it's allocated for this year are immediate needs.
That's how it's
So
supposed to be.
so I wouldn't jump ahead. I mean, my recommendation wouldn't be to jump ahead a couple of years.
No,
We're going down that
but
road.
so he put in on his new sheet right here. He put in 45,000 for the roof in fiscal year 24
For this year.
for the Nathaniel Mill Commission, right?
So I agree with that. If it's, the problem, what he was saying when he was here was the 95,000 is the best bid he's got. He's only gotten one bid, I believe, but he was saying that there are other towns that have been sued and had to put a ramp in immediately. So that could happen if we
It could.
decide to kick the can.
But we do have, I'm not worried about that only in the sense that if we have emergency, as selected, we have the ability for emergency funds.
Yeah.
We could just, I mean, even though we do have a pretty substantial deficit, if it ever came to that, we could fund that.
Yeah. I'm a little weary on the mill
Okay.
recommending funding.
I am also.
I would
Okay.
prefer not to recommend funding anything
Okay.
over there.
Okay.
If they rented it out every single day for the next year, it would come out to $14,600.
46,000?
No, 14,000 is how much revenue they would make right now.
In a year.
Every
The
day.
maximum.
Every day.
The maximum they could ever make.
Frank, I'm sorry, I'm asking ridiculous questions.
It's
because I missed the first time. I
14,000.
apologize.
That's fine.
And yet they
The
want
playground in
300.
Cove, is that on there?
It's on the matrix, but it's being funded hopefully by CPC.
Okay.
So it's on the it's on the matrix. It's just not on here. Okay.
Because I was gonna recommend that.
So
Something needs to be done
Okay.
about Thomas Mill, and I'm not sure what.
I know. But I think that is beyond the scope of this meeting.
But you're saying don't even
Yeah.
put the 45
Yeah, I don't.
No,
I
and-
will
and
vote
on it-
against
and-
recommending any funding.
And so
let's not even do them at all.
as another
Is it-
another
I mean,
factor.
I
hold on.
know that after getting all of the, like, buy-in and getting a number, we can just recommend 280,000.
Yes, we can.
Which I know.
I'm trying to figure out what the list is right now, though, with everything, including the schools.
I feel bad because they've done all this work and they're all volunteers and
To a degree, though, they could raise the rates, see how that works.
Okay, so let's just go through this because my phone's going to die because
That's what
it's
I
at
said,
6%.
something
So, fire 95,000 for protective clothing, highway 140 for the truck, for the one truck, not the other one.
Correct.
140 for that, and then 38 for the highway radios, right?
Yep.
So 116 for the Indian Head and the Hanson Middle School, 116 both times, and then the regional school district for 135. That total comes out to 640.
Right.
Right. Okay. So we think that what they're going to do is they're going to put in an article for this, regardless of what we do, right? For the school stuff. So what we have is the 280. I think it was the 280 for.
Yeah, it's like 272 or
Okay.
whatever.
can we say we put a down payment on that truck? You know what I mean? If
They
they're
didn't
gonna-
ask for that.
I mean, yeah.
We can't partially fund things arbitrarily.
Yeah.
You can't partially fund things arbitrarily, but you can partially fund things if you anticipate earmarking those funds for the next couple of years. We have done that in the past.
Right, but
Like-
we have no knowledge that that's going to happen.
No,
if
I'm
we're
just
gonna-
just pointing.
Yeah, sorry,
You
yes,
can do,
yes. But right now, when we asked him, he's got to go and ask
Yeah.
and figure out if they can finance that thing. With the information we have right now,
But
we can't do that.
If they can finance it, could they then take X amount as a down payment and not finance the whole thing?
Yes.
Is that a possibility?
Yes.
It is a possibility, yes. I don't know. I don't necessarily know if it's the best use of our dollars right now. I think maybe it might make sense to come back to them and say, "Hey, next year, what do you think about financing it?" Because he might not even know we can do
Yeah,
that.
I mean, you mentioned financing.
I asked, so he put on here for $295,000 for the dump truck with the sander, and I asked Jameson to go check with Gene to see if he can do that as a financing essentially, right? Because like that's our budget, like the $300,000, the whole like that's, and plus we need to get into the motion of doing highway like one truck like a year at the most, like because we can't do, that's $450,000 worth of trucks, like that's the whole capital budget from essentially just Jameson.
We'll get
so we will, but it kind of takes, and I understand what he's trying to do. Like it's not even about that. Like he's just trying to update the fleet so it's like good. But the other thing is too is if we wanted to recommend this, we could go through and approve on the Whitman Hanson Regional School District just the network switches across the 3 schools, right? So we have 20, 40. That'd be it'd be a little bit over. We'd be about 380.
Oh, I like that then.
I don't have enough information, but
What?
we can obviously vote on it. But
But we don't have a priority really, because we don't know
right.
to them which is the priority.
Yeah,
We don't know.
but so listen, I know we don't have enough information, but I feel like we're not doing, let me rephrase that. I feel like I'm not doing my job if I don't either say no, like you can't, because this is like $350,000, so that if we have, how much was it, $800,000 we have in free cash?
Something like that.
So we're using $700,000 of the $800,000 in free cash that we have available at the town this year, right? From them entering in this, like that. Like I don't feel comfortable not either recommending it or speaking up and saying we can't do this year. Like we have to have some other funding. So I don't know why. Like it's just I don't know. So
But-
we can take it wherever we want. If we
don't
want
have a way
to.
of voting on it though, because we don't know the priority.
Oh, we absolutely have a way of voting on it. We can go through and say we're not approving this. Like we know what network
We can
switches
say
are.
that,
Like
yeah.
we know what network switches are, right? I know what the touch
Right,
panels
do
are
we
in
know,
the school,
but-
but
we
do
can
we
say that we
know
don't
they're
advise.
needed?
We don't advise.
like we don't recommend it or something like that. Like we could, like you could
we would
recommend.
just leave it off of our article.
I mean,
Like Joe said, we're not funding things.
They didn't
Say.
show up. They didn't give us a way to prioritize. They didn't give us a way to do our job.
So let's vote on the stuff that we have here, which is the protective gearing, the highway for 140, and the radio for 38. So I will entertain a motion to add the 3 capital items onto our town meeting article. Does that make sense?
Yep, in that order.
In that order. Highway protective clothing for 95,000. I'm sorry.
Firefighter.
Firefighter protective clothing for 95,000. Highway dump truck unit 6 for 140, and then the highway radio systems for the trucks for $38,000. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Ken. Do I have a second?
second it.
Second by Mr. Heel. All those in favor? Franks and I. Ed. Ken.
Aye.
Joe.
Aye.
Awesome. That's easy for.
And that leaves our balance at what?
That leaves our balance right now. We're at
272.
272. So we got about 60,000 left for October. If we wanted to put an article in for October for some special,
Oh, that's a good idea.
yeah. If I know we're kind of going away from that, but if we wanted to do that, we could do that. Make sure. I have that. Okay. Okay. Great. So let me check the agenda real fast. Hold on 1 second. Just want to make sure we don't have anything else.
No, that's it.
That's it.
Since you already moved the minutes.
Yeah, we tabled the minutes for next meeting. We have to make a date for the next meeting, which we don't really need to do anything right now because it's the town meeting that we have, right? It's town meeting's next, so when's the next time we want to meet?
Are we all done for town meeting?
Do you want to find leave something in the books, just pencil it in case we need to fine tune something?
Are we able to fine tune things after today? That's the problem.
Oh, yeah, we can make a recommendation. I mean, all we're doing is making recommendations.
Well,
And just because the article is closed, all you need to, the way this works is you're just submitting an article, and basically everything is a placeholder, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
You can wordsmith it right up until the day. So if we do have to fine tune it, it'd be better for me personally, my calendar, if we picked a day, penciled it in, and just said, this is what we're thinking, just in case.
okay.
Because as we get closer, it's going to get filled up because we're going to get busier and busier.
Yep.
Okay.
How far before town meeting do you want to have that?
You say week?
Town meeting is the 1st?
Third, I thought. No, it's not. It's
No,
the first.
second. It's the second.
Monday.
I'm
It's a
confused.
Monday. It's the
March,
1st.
yeah, first.
Yeah.
Okay. So we can meet April 24th, which is the Monday before that.
I'm cool with that. I just know we're going to get busy.
It's my daughter's birthday, but I'm going to be celebrating it over the weekend.
Okay.
No,
Well,
that's-
we'll do it the 17th then.
Is the 17th okay with everybody? I don't want to be.
That is, no. I'm not
Okay.
available that day.
Let's do
Are
the
you
24th.
not available the whole week, or are you good?
I'm not available the 17th to the. I may not be available that whole week. I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
I believe I'm going to be.
How about the
traveling
week
for work.
before that, or is that
How about the
going too
10th?
far back? The
The
10th.
10th is
10th.
Easter, but the rest of that's Easter Monday. But the rest of that week, I'm fine.
You're busy Easter Monday?
Easter.
Is that what you're saying?
Oh, is the town hall open? I guess it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's open. Yeah, because they have Good Friday off,
Country now,
right?
so.
Good Friday off, right?
I don't care either way.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Okay, so we'll do April the 10th, right? And if Beth says we can't do it that day because of Easter Monday, which I've never heard of before, oddly enough, but then we can figure we could do it. We could do it well, how about April 13th if the 10th isn't available? That sound
What
good?
day of the week is the 13th?
That's a Thursday.
Thursday. And again,
The
it's just
13th is a...
Thursday.
penciling it in. It's
Yeah,
not
we're
like-
penciling it in.
Yeah,
so-
ideally we don't meet.
That's my point, right? So it doesn't
Ideally,
matter
we
whether
don't
it's the 24th, the 10th, the 13th, or whatever.
Okay.
The idea is we're hopefully not going to have
Okay.
to find.
Well, it's gonna be one. It's gonna be one of those days.
If I
So
know in advance.
Yeah.
okay. So it's gonna be so
10th?
the 10th.
Okay.
The 10th, right? We'll have it on the 10th. Okay.
10th with a rain date of the 3rd.
With a rain date of the 13th. Okay. So we have that. So just to, like Joe wasn't here before, so I will I'll just fill him in about it. I have a meeting with Jeff and George, the assistant superintendent and the superintendent on Thursday, about their capital matrix that they have, because they have a 5-year capital matrix there. So I want to see if they can give us that and we can get it printed out for town meeting.
Great.
So we can have that presented, because, you know, there was a couple years ago, there was the people saying that, you know, the school doesn't come up with their own capital matrix, they just kind of give us items, which is absolutely true. So, we got that. And then we have the 3 items right now that we're funding in our town meeting article, in no particular order, or is it in that order that we voted in that order, right?
Yeah, in that order.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then we have roughly 72, we're about close to $78,000 left for October, if we needed to do it in October.
Our own rainy day fund.
What's that?
It's our own rainy day fund.
Our own rainy day fund, exactly. An update, just a little update about the meeting that me and Joe had with the select board and the town accountant and the FinCom. I was asking them for an individual budget item for our capital expenditures and kind of doing it like that. So in our operating budget for the town, we would have a line item every year that says capital, right? And we can go through and start doing it like that. We had some discussions about just the general budget in general, so there wasn't anything too crazy there. FinCom, like they said, they gave us the 350 for it. There was some issues with the ARPA funds that were being expended out from previous capital items that we slated for, mainly the HVAC system and the generator from the library, the senior center. Lisa, the TA, said that they were denied from Plymouth County, so we're gonna have to go over to try to get them from the federal funds. So anything that you hear about people coming up and using stuff for ARPA or having ARPA as a potential funding source of it, just be wary of it. So
Two big things, if you don't mind me just interjecting here. And correct me if I'm wrong, but from memory, 2 big numbers. As of right now at that meeting, I don't even think we were told that the